Hello, everyone. How are you this evening? It's Amy from Cookie Snack Attack and Seriously Sweet. I'm going to give everybody a second to share this over to their personal pages if they want to. I have verified that the text and a link to the Cookie Snack Attack group both went out. I received both of them. So just want to make sure you guys are seeing that as well. Super excited for the second part of Tutorial Tuesday. I believe it's still two guys, although my mom's house has fantastic internet. She has Fios, so she has very good internet here. We are in the area that's under a tornado warning. So right now we're totally fine, but the internet gets spotty when we have storms here. So if I cut out, I will continue on, record, and then post in the group, so you'll still get to see everything, okay? But just know that if that happens, I will be back. I'm just going to have to record it onto the computer and then upload it as soon as we get our services back, okay? And I'm not expecting anything. It's very, very dark outside. The wind is starting, but we had the same thing last night. And if you've ever lived in Florida, you know, sometimes the storms amount to something and sometimes they don't. Just kind of how it goes. Hey, Camille, how are you this evening? So glad to see you. And you guys, we set a new stars goal for Facebook for the month of June. It's going to help us pay off that cool, fancy new camera we got. Miss Pamela, check the Unplugged retreat group. I have 8 cards posted, the Cookie Snack Attack cards. And if you have time, please look them over before you print them out. And if you see anything that you think I should correct or amend, let me know and I'll do that before everybody starts printing them. Hello. So excited. We're going coastal tonight. Hey, Debbie. And Whoopi is with Debbie. You know who that is if you were at retreat. You know who Whoopi is. Whoopi's going to be joining our cookie group and cooking with us very soon. Hey, Deborah. How are you? Hi, Sally. How's it going in your neck of the woods of Florida? Have y'all had storms today? Oh, you printed them. Okay, well, you proof them too. I printed them. I didn't see anything. But I did have my eyes checked today. That was one of the appointments. And my prescription was what I would call significantly in need. So, anyway, I have new contacts in and I'm adjusting to the fact that I can see really great, right? Hey, what was that question? Let's see. The colors you are going to use. Oh, yeah. These are the colors I showed everybody this morning. So I'm going to go with the darker teal, that brown and the ivory for my icing. And then these are just some things I gathered. I've been gathering these things, except for this. This was a gift at the cookie retreat, at the Unplugged Cookie Snack Attack retreat. So thank you, Debbie and Whoopi. It's fabulous. I love it. We're going to see what it does tonight on top of our ivory icing. But I've been gathering the other things, and I went ahead and colored a little bit of fondant because I'm going to be working on a special project when I'm back in July. And so I just wanted to test some things in case there was things I had to gather from the house. Hey, Miss Kelly, I hope you are feeling better. How are you? Hi, Lavelle. It's good to see you. Oh, I'm so glad. Maybe these will make everybody happy tonight. All right, so let's get rid of that. If you have not purchased the Pirate Cookie class, it's this upcoming weekend on June 4th. It starts at 4 p.m. in the private Facebook group. You still have plenty of time to get ready. We're doing 6 designs. All of your prep videos are already filmed and in the group. So hopefully we'll have a few more of you joining us. Please try to do that and get into the group before Friday because I don't want to slow down class on Saturday admitting anyone, okay? So we're going to cut off admission to the group at noon on Saturday. All right. Now, it'll be available for replay if you want to purchase it Saturday, still at the discounted price. You just won't be able to be in on the live class, okay? Or the Zoom call after. All right, so let me go and hide that. Hello, Phyllis. How are you? Let's take this off so we can get started. I'm super excited about this. I've told you I love the beaches here. I kind of made a joke in my first couple of videos that I may have to reevaluate whether or not I'm a beach snob. I don't think I am, but I am really, really preference to the Gulf Coast beaches about halfway down Florida. I even like the storms on this side of the coast, halfway down Florida. I don't know, but we've got some really unusual sand over here, which starts from a pink powdered sugar sand and gets a little bit darker and full of shark's teeth as you come from Sarasota down towards Venice. And then Inglewood is like a big mixture of different sands, and Boca Grande is an entirely different sand. And then a little further down on Sanibel Island, that's even different. I just love all the variations. So, and I love the water. The water, unless there's red tide, the water is always beautiful shades of turquoise right in this area of the state. I don't know what causes that or why we get blessed with that, but it's quite beautiful. And we're investigating 3 different spots for a retreat next year, for a cookie retreat. So I'll keep you up to date on that as I have info. I will not have info anytime soon, so don't message me. But I have 3 places and a calls into a couple people for something for next year. But don't call yet because I don't know. So earlier today I jumped on and I showed you the cutters in a photo. We're going to be doing these are going to be simple and fast coastal cookies, excuse me, that you can add to your feature cookies. These are cookies. We're going to do them tonight. The base part of them anyway, we're going to do it tonight so that you can actually do a bunch of these and freeze them. And I also, these smell so good, you guys. I used a new flavoring in here tonight. Loran, it was from Loran. I found it at here in Florida at either Michael's or Hobby Lobby. It was called, I feel like it was called Cookie Butter. It was an emulsion. So I used that and they smell delicious. I can't wait to taste them. I made a couple little scrap cookies just so we could see what they taste like. Hello, Dee Dee. How are you? Hi, Robin. Hope everybody's getting ready for the pirate class. Okay, so that's the 3 cookies we're going to do. These are the 3 icing colors. These are just some things I've gathered. And then look at this. This is fun, right? This is a brand from Walmart, Alma's Edible Dust in blue, but it's really like, it matches these sprinkles. I don't know if we're going to use all this tonight. It's the things I've been gathering. So I broke a little bit of everything out so I could get a good picture to take home with me to Virginia so that I would know what's here when I come back. And I'm super excited about the project that I'm going to work on when I come back. It's, there's actually 2 projects I'm going to work on, but one of them I'm going to be doing some demo and testing and stuff like that in Virginia when I get back so that I can actually record it when I'm here. Can't wait for you guys to see that one. So we're going to try this and see what it looks like tonight, just because I want to see what it looks like. Let me put this to the side there. Oh, and also in my bag of tricks, I found this. If you don't own this yet, you might want to get some soon. It's Sterling Pearl, the Gold Pearl. It's a beautiful gold tinted. Let me just show it to you. It might be easier to explain that way. It looks like it's white or ivory, but it's actually a very, very beautiful pale gold that you can buff on the cookies for a shimmer. I love it. I had brought it down here to test out. And then I also kept my dogwood out. I'm going to use my dogwood because we're going to make white seashells and ivory seashells. And then we're going to make them look a little bit different by using the dogwood and the gold pearl. So I don't know how long our video is going to go tonight. Don't feel like you need to stay the whole time if you don't want to. I'm just going to film it all as one piece. Hey, Priscilla, how are you doing? It's hard to believe that just 2 weeks ago we were on the mountain, isn't it? It feels like forever ago. It's really weird to me. Okay, so I promised you some cookies that you could do fast and easy designs. So we've got all of the embellishments to the side. I just showed you all of those. I'm going to go ahead and trim the tips of all of my bags. You guys know I like to work with a little bit thicker icing because I don't like to do a separate flood and outline. So this is about if you count icing, this is about an 18 to 20 second. Okay, so I've got Ivory. I'm going to put them over on this side. Maybe I can keep everything straight tonight. I'm going to use Ivory. I'm going to use the light tone of the chocolate from our kit that we did, our pirate kit. We'll have that there. I'm just trying to take these little pieces out of the way. And then I've got this teal. This was just a Wilton teal that I picked up at, I think I picked up that bottle of teal at Walmart when I first got down here and had to find some flip-flops. Do you know that I have not bought any new flip-flops since I moved from Florida to Virginia? And so I had to go over there and just get one of the $2 pairs because I like to throw them out every so often. I don't like it when the straps stretch out. How about you girls? Let's see what's going on here. All right. Any comments over there? You guys ready to get started? Okay, so what I promised you was some fast and easy designs tonight. So in keeping with that, we're going to start with the fondant pieces first and then buff the fondant pieces. So we have a few little accents, and I'm going to let you guys help me pick what accents we're going to do. And we're going to try to keep it to just a couple of mats. This mat I showed you earlier, I am going to take this home and I'm going to use it like a cake lace mat and with some of the Flex Frost to see what it does for mermaid cookies. So I'm not going to do that one tonight because it would be too long of a video. That almost needs to be its own video. So then this is what I have here that we can use tonight. So on here, and let's take a look at the cookies and the icing, and then let's pick a few things, okay? So we have our mermaid tail. So on this, I want to do some of the little pearls and maybe the starfish. I really like this starfish versus this starfish because this has the knobs and this is more like the starfish on this coast. I mean, they're probably everywhere, but this is the one I find when I go to the beach. So I'd like to do that. For sure, I want to do that. That's really the only one I want to do from this mat. Because of the spiral shells, I like this one better. It has a lot more detail down in the mat. And then I definitely want to do some of these smaller scallop shells. So are you guys okay with that? If I do mainly this mat and then use this starfish and use this? I'm not going to do any of this. I prefer to do that one with chocolate. It's a little harder to get out. And we're going to be using some of the candies on the jellyfish, and then the shell. I want to put some jewels and stuff down here and a couple baby seashells. So if you guys are good with that, just let me know over in the comments and we'll start on our fondant pieces. And I also, we can't actually do it on any of these cookies. It's not going to look right on these cookies, but we'll see how long the video goes. And then potentially we're going to make one or the other of these waves, or I might just save that to do it on a cookie when I get home. Okay. So if you guys are good with the shells, I think we should go ahead and make a few of the shells up. So let me grab a pair of gloves. I'm excited about doing these shells in white or ivory fondant because I want you guys to see what you can accomplish with the colors and the sugars that I picked out for dry dusting and for embellishing them. Now, these are new mats. I washed and sanitized them. And I have a little cornstarch off to the side. So we are going to have to prime the mats. So that'll take just a second. I'm going to be using a thicker brush. You see that? Okay. And a little bit of cornstarch. Ah, Sally, thank you for, oh, what did I just do? Did I pick that up from the wrong thing? Oh, you guys, I got it in the gold. Well, let's see what it does. It's fine. Sally, thank you for the stars. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you guys, I upgraded my StreamYard, so that's going to help us a little bit too. I think that's going to put us in more places. I'm excited for what that's going to look like for us. I do the same thing I use at the store, Lavelle, for sanitizing, and I use a bleach and water combination and these testing strips where it has to be 40 parts per million type situation. And I'm just dusting these, you guys, with cornstarch. Now this one, it had tipped into the gold that's on this little plate over here. So some of that may end up in our shells, but I think we'll be okay. All right, so let's do a little dusting here. By the way, I want to take a second and say thank you to everyone that watches all of the videos. I know that there are some of you that you watch every single second of these videos. And so you know if I misspeak at any point in the video, you've watched the whole video, so you know I correct it later. And you're not blowing up my phone with negativity. I very much appreciate all of you. You know, it's difficult when you're on a live to keep up with everything that's going on, especially when you're trying to keep up with comments and all of the things that people are asking too. So I appreciate all of you that maybe you don't actually do this, but you totally understand what's going on behind the scenes. And I just appreciate that you guys give that value and that you understand that not 100% of the time can everything be spoken absolutely correct. I do the best that I can and I keep moving. So if I ever go back and watch a video, which I actually try not to do that because it makes me very self-conscious about what I'm doing. So I really try not to do that. But on the times that I do, if I see there's something wrong, then if you're regular followers, you know that I always post in the comments. All right, so we've got this one ready to go. Let's tip this one out because we don't want all that cornstarch in our fondant. We just wanted to get our mat ready, right? Let's move these guys over here. I have to say this little travel set that I've worked out to bring to Florida when I come is quite a nice little set. It's an easy setup and a small table. I can work on a smaller table at my mom's house. So I like that. I hope we're going to be able to keep doing that. Lavelle, I was thinking about something else too when I got sidetracked a second ago. If you go to webstaurant.com, there's actually a sanitizing solution on there that a lot of the home bakers like. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm sure it'll pop up if you type in, you know, sanitizer or restaurant quality sanitizer. I'm sure it'll pop up for you. But a lot of home bakers like it because they don't want to deal with the strips or the volume and that sort of stuff, okay? So look for that. Oh, and you're super welcome. You guys know I love it. I've missed being with you guys. We've just had so many things going on, and that is not a complaint. It is just a statement of fact. Life is what life is, and sometimes life throws you a new one, right? All right, so are you watching on the fondant? You guys tell me if you need extra explanation on the fondant. I feel like we've done lots of fondant mats in the past, so I think you pretty much know what I'm doing here. But if we have any new people on in Cookie Snack Attack and you have questions, please post them. Please let StreamYard see your name so I know who's asking. That way, if I need to follow up with you after, I can. I'm always glad to do that. But I'm basically pea-size amount that will fit, that's flat, and I'm pushing firmly in because I want all that great relief work. Because when I dry dust this, or maybe I put a little gold shimmer or I buff it or something like that, all of that detail is going to come out. So basically I put it in, I pull the extra off, and then I work it back towards the center because I prefer to have the nice clean edges right when I turn it out of the mat. Hey, Charlotte, how are you doing? Are you on your ride home? So let's just do a couple more. We don't need this many for the cookies we're doing, but this little shell may come in handy to layer. So I'm just going to do, let's do 5 of these and then we'll move on to the next mat. Okay. And you know what? Actually, why don't we do this? Why don't we switch to ivory? I want to try to keep the shells in white and ivory tonight. So why don't we switch over to ivory real quick? Hey, Mom, do you want to come say hi to everybody if you're not on camera? All the Cookie Snack Attackers. All the Cookie Snack Attackers. We got a pretty good group watching if you just want to pop in at some point and say hi. So Mom says hi. But she's situated and resting. So if you guys are okay with her not coming in here, she said to tell you hello. These cookies smell so good. Sally from Florida says hi, Mom. Charlotte says hi, Mom. All right, let me move this over. All right, we'll come back to it because we're going to dry dust, but I want to just kind of move it out of the way so that we can go to the next mold. I want to get this one because I want to see if it picks up that gold. Pamela says hi, Mom. Lavelle says hi, Mom. Thank you, guys. You're so sweet. I think that I'm going to try to get Mom to cookie with me at some point. Not right now. Right now it's too much, but at some point. All right. So this one is a little trickier to get in and out of the mat because the mat is more firm. This is one of those mats. I'm pretty sure this is one I brought from, I don't remember. I don't remember if this one came from home or if I bought it. I think I brought this one from home though, because it wasn't in the packaging. But I showed you this morning which ones came from where. But this is definitely from Michael's and it's a current one. So check it because I'm pretty sure that this is one that you can bake in. I don't think it does good isomalt pieces because I think somebody tested it last year, but I think you can bake in this one, which would be interesting, wouldn't it? All right, so I just turned it over, flipped it out, and now you'll see why I love this one. Do you see that? It's like a sugar starfish. Do you see all the cool little divots? Oh, here comes the storm. Can you hear that noise, you guys? It's so loud. And the gold, that gold, it took the color out of the mat, but it's an antique gold, so it kind of just made it a little bit dirty looking, which we'll fix when we buff it with gold in a little bit. Storm's coming, Mom. Can you guys hear it on the camera? It's so loud out on the lanai. It's so loud right now. Hey, Kelly, how are you? Joining us from South Carolina today. I hope all is well there for you. Are you getting any of the storms that we're getting? I mean, you're a couple states away, but I think there's a pretty particular weather pattern that when these storms pass over Florida from the West Coast to the East Coast that they travel. All right, I just love these little embellishments for cookies. Now, remember, you guys, you could do these in straight chocolate. You can do these in modeling chocolate. You can do them in a fondant modeling chocolate blend. It's all going to depend on your time of year, the humidity in your area, all of those things we've discussed 100 times, right? So see, here's another one, slightly different because we're going to experiment and see which one. Can you see just that very subtle difference in that? We're going to see which ones take the color different, okay? All right, and if you guys have a second, share this to your pages. Maybe we can get some new cookie snack attackers. We're very close to hitting 2,600 people in our little group. So share the page, use your invite button when you're in the group, if you don't mind, and invite some more people to the cookie fun. Now I'm doing a bunch of ivory and I'm just working with small amounts because I don't want it to have a hump in the back. I want it to be flat. And I've told you before, I'm a little heavy-handed with using a knife to cut this. There's other people can do it. They glide right across it. They never damage their mat. I always seem to cause little nicks in mine. So I've just learned what works best for me. And it works best for me to get the proper amount of fondant in there and then kind of work it in from the sides. All right, let's do this spiral. This spiral is really pretty. And guys, after you do this for a while, you get really good at eyeballing it, like just how much you need. And then you can just add little nuggets to it, right? Because you're not going to see that on the back, right? That doesn't need to be perfect. That's going to go up against a cake or as a cupcake topper. It's going to be on a cookie. So as long as the back is flat. Mom Nadine is here from Canada and she says hello. She's the one that I told you about that we swap candy. I send her American candy and she sends me Canadian food and candy. She says hello. Ooh, this storm, you guys. Next time I'll make sure I bring 2 of the good quality cameras. I wasn't really sure if things would get damaged or not, but the way I packed them, I feel like they traveled very well. So I feel like next time I'll bring not my new camera, but another live streaming camera. I'll bring another live stream, like a 1080 with me. And we'll have 2 cameras set up so you can see me too. And that way I can flip it and you can see outside because it's quite gorgeous here. All right. How are we looking there, guys? Do you like that? Hey, Barbie, how are you tonight? All right, so I'm going to do one. I'm going to do this one just so you can see the difference. And you can pick which one you like in case you don't own the mats. You can pick up some mats, okay? Let's just pop that one out real quick. Can you hear that noise now? Can you hear the thunder rumbling? Oh, my goodness. All right, let's flip this over, give it a little press. They're falling right out. This is how easy it is once you learn to prime your mats. Look at these gorgeous shells. Hey, how are you doing? It's good to see you tonight. Let me show these to you. I'll lift them up. I love that on that new camera, I've gotten so used to being able to hit that zoom right on the camera so I don't have to leave and go out to another program. I may have to figure a way to put that in my carry-on next time. But look at the beautiful markings. And we haven't even dry dusted or buffed yet. So good to see all of you tonight. I'm glad you're here. Make sure you share this to your personal pages and share it from Cookie Snack Attack. There's an invite button on the Cookie Snack Attack page. When you're there, there's an invite button that you can invite your friends. So if you have anybody that you think might like our cookie shenanigans and want to be in a free cookie group, invite them on over. All right, I'm going to move these out of the way. We're going to do a little bit of dusting, then we're going to start our icing, okay? It's so loud out there, you guys. I hope I don't lose my internet. Right now, I'm on 3 out of 5 bars, so hopefully your videos are okay too. All right, so let's jump in and use the 2 colors I showed you a few minutes ago, this gold pearl and the dogwood. I'm going to do a little dogwood first. I'm not going to do it on all of them because we're going to be testing out what we like and don't like. So I'm going to go back to this brush, just knock the cornstarch out. The most that's going to do is dry the surface of the fondant a little faster. So let me pick some of this up so I can close this. And I want to take a little of the gold pearl up with a totally different brush. I can't wait for you guys to see this. You're going to love it. Right? We'll put some of this, just a tiny, tiny bit. You don't need a whole lot. What jingle or song is that from, you guys? You don't need a whole lot. Do you know what that's from? I feel like it's from a Sunday school song. All right, let's move that over here out of the way. We're moving products this way as we use them, okay? I'm going to put my fondant back up on that tray that I worked on earlier. And I'm also going to put a little bit of this because I feel like this has mica. It has mica in it, and it's got the it's totally food safe and edible. And it's got that nice gold tone to it. So I feel like I'll put a little bit of that on the tray to buff with. I feel like it's going to be a really good buffer, and it's going to look really good over the beach sand. And then instead of spraying this, because I really don't want to get this everywhere at my mom's, I'm just going to knock a little bit of this out. Like those turbo shells. Have you guys ever seen those turbo shells at the beach? So we've got 4 colors we're going to just play around with here, okay? And I'm just knocking the extra off here. And I'm going to be gentle because these have not sat for very long. So I don't want to distort the design that's in them, right? I just want to highlight it with this. So let's pick up a little bit of this and see what it does. Oh, I was right. Look, you guys, so pretty. This is buffing with the gold pearl from the sugar art. Look how beautiful. Isn't that pretty? All right, now let's pick up a little bit of the gold and let's see what it does. Oh, that's nice. That's going to be really pretty. Okay, and now let's take just a smidge of this turquoisey blue and run it on here like the turbo shells. It's also got mica in it, so it's going to give us some great color. Oh, how pretty is that? So look what we were just able to do with that shell for when we put it on our cookie. Isn't that pretty? All right, so minimal amount of dogwood. We don't want them to get too dark. We're just going to cross over, get the highlight or the crevice areas is what we're going for, to get some color down in there for depth, right? That'll help us with the depth. Then let's just start picking up our shimmer colors as we go across. And that is going to just put a little bit of each thing on here. It's going to look so good on these fast and simple cookies. So earlier, first video today, I was explaining that what you could do is pre-make the fast and simple cookies that I'm going to show you, and then you can freeze them. So you have them ready to go, and you could make your fondant and or modeling chocolate pieces, and you could have those separate. Then when you unfreeze your cookies, you could put your fondant pieces on just by using some royal icing. You can come back and add fondant after the fact. Now this one I'm going reverse order. It's an Ivory Starfish, and I did my turquoise first and then dogwood, and now I'm adding a little bit of that gold shimmer. I just want to see what it does. Oh, look, that is just my favorite. I love that. This is so good for beach weddings. If you have people that pick up in your area and then go to destination weddings and stuff, look at that. Look how beautiful. So pretty. And we'll be working these in on the other plate that we have that has all the sugars and sprinkles. Yes, I think you do need it, Robin. It's very pretty. It's called, what did I say it was called, guys? Gold, is it gold pearl? Let me look. Let me hold it up again. So it's a sterling pearl by the Sugar Art. And it's called Gold Pearl. So it just is this nice buffer of gold that you don't have to paint with, right? You don't have to paint. You don't have to go super metallic. It's just quite attractive, especially over white or ivory base coat. How pretty is that? All right. So let's just put a little bit. Some of these I'm just going to do just that gold, so that if we want to drop it on top of turquoise icing, it's going to stand out even more. I don't want to do them all exactly the same. So we'll do a white. Wow, I can't even see out there, you guys. It's raining so hard now, and it's loud. I feel like my mic is, it has a little reactor light on it when it's picking up noises, and it's triple timing right now. Can you guys hear that? Can you hear the storm? And it might have already knocked out the internet in there because I don't, or the dish, because I don't hear my mom watching TV right now. All right, let's do this one in a straight. Ooh, it's pretty. Let's do that way. All right, then we're going to go back and add a little bit of the gold. Oh, that's pretty. Look, isn't that beautiful? Love that. So these will be great cookies if you want to do them ahead of time. Cookies themselves are going to go real fast, and you know, however long it takes you to do embellishments, you roughly know what time frame you're looking at for stuff like that. So you'll know how long that's going to take you. If you want to make a bunch of these and put them up so they're ready to roll, you can. Now on this one, I'm going to try to keep that gold on the inside like it would actually be mother of pearl on the inside of a shell. We're going to fill that with the gold and the gold pearl and keep the color on the outside if possible. It's just such a pretty conch shell. And then this one too, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but when you bring it out of the mat, you can actually really do a nice job with this one, making that little lip a 3D by just doing a little pinching in the back and let it set up that way. And then before you put it on the cookie, you'll just take some scissors and trim off that little triangle area. But we'll let it set up like that. All right, let's get some gold on this. I'm not, oh no, you're not hearing it at all. Okay. So you guys let me know if you start having any trouble with the quality of the video or the volume, and I'll swap over to just a recording and then post a recorded video. But I feel like I've got good towers right now. I mean, connection shows good streaming. So hopefully we're okay. And put a little on this one. All right, now this one I want to get a little dirty with it. So I'm going to mix up my gold, a little bit of this gold. I'm going to mix some of the dogwood and get more of an antique color with this one. I feel like that might be nice. I don't want it to look so clean, right? I don't want to go orange because that doesn't fit my color scheme, my 3 colors, but I don't want it to be so bright white because it's a starfish, and the detail shows up better on these little sugar starfish if there's some contrasting colors there. Got that? All right, let's put that over there. We've got another little seashell. I'm going to use a little bit of this gold on. A little bit of dogwood in those crevices. So pretty. And the cookies are going to go really fast. We're just going to do some very basic wet on wet techniques that you could do. If you cookie for volume or cookie for profit, you're going to be able to do a lot of cookies. All right. And make sure if you want them to have a little movement to them or a different shape that you place them on whatever you use for them to dry so that they take on a curl. All right. These I want with flat backs. So I'm very happy with how they came out of the molds. You see that detail we're getting there? So pretty, right? But that's up to you. Like something like this, if you want it to actually be curved, you'll need to put something under it to have it hold that shape while it's that flexible, okay? Now let's use some of the gold on the inside, like the mother of pearl shade would be in there. I think rainbow dust would be great in the middle of some of these too. And then I'm going to cover it and use my dogwood to just get the highlights on the outer part of the shell showing, okay? And then I want to go back and add a little bit of this blue and then a little dogwood over that so that it mutes it just a little bit. Okay, by the way, as always, if you don't enjoy the videos, please feel free to scroll on. It's okay. This is not for everyone. Some people like pre-recorded things. Some people don't like to sit through a long video. Some people do, so I'm going to keep doing them because for you guys, it gives you a chance to ask questions and have a free live class once a week. And I think based on the pictures you're posting, it's really helping everybody. So I think we should keep going. But there's always people that don't necessarily like it or join in halfway and then don't get the full effect of it. So we're okay if you have to scroll on. We understand. All right, let's put a little blue. Oh, I love that. It's just so pretty. All right, well, that's our shells. So let's clean this brush off here. I'm going to leave the brushes here so I can wash them in a little bit. Dee Dee, thank you. I appreciate that so much. I'm glad you guys enjoy them. As long as there's several of you out there that are enjoying them, we're just going to keep going in our format. I do always try to improve what we're doing with your classes. And my block button works too when people are too critical. So I'm just letting you know I'm not going to be offended if you need to scroll on, okay? All right. Let's put that here. These are the pieces we made earlier. So now let's get all this together so that we have everything extra. When we start icing, we'll have everything extra together. So you guys are seeing the whole get up too, in case you're like, ooh, add that, add this, right? We can have a nice experiment tonight. Also, I wanted to remind you the pirate class is this Saturday. If you're joining in, but you haven't purchased the class yet, go ahead and do that so that we can get you in the class before Saturday. All of the prep videos are already in that group. So I can get you, I mean, obviously not right now because we're live streaming, okay? But I can get you in that group right away. Usually you're in, you know, unless it's nighttime when you join. I have to put a disclaimer for that because I have been trying to sleep at least 6 hours a night. But I get a beep and I put you guys in right away. So anybody that wants in that group before Saturday, we've got time to get you in. All right, so here's our pieces. I'm going to have to slide them to the side just a little bit because now we're going to start on our cookies. And we're going to do, oh, Debbie, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Deborah says she loves the videos. Debbie is learning and she's enjoying them. That's great. And Charlotte says they bring her joy. That makes me happy. Sally is looking forward to class on Saturday. I can't wait. And particularly the Zoom part of class Saturday. I like visiting with you guys afterwards. So that's going to be fun. All right. So we have a clean paper towel down. The tips of my bags are cut all to about a 1.5 or 2 point tip. I like to use tipless bags rather than cleaning tips all the time. And we're going to jump right in with our seashell. Now, I was cooking or baking rather in my mom's oven, which I have not tested before. So my cookies are, these are cookies done at the house in the store. And this is cookie in this oven. But I wanted these to be able to travel. So I overbaked them by about 3 minutes. So I think I got what I wanted. So there we go. There we got that. And now what we're going to do is start doing some wet on work. Hey, Mary Jean. How are you? Oh, Barbie, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You're always there and always supportive. You guys just don't know how much that means. All right, so we are going to do just a quick outline, but we're going to be doing wet on wet. So I don't want to do my normal loop-de-loop. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Some of you won't, so let me show you. So on something like this, if I want a very defined curve and I'm flooding the whole cookie in the same color, I'll do my arch around the cookie, and then instead of stopping and going this way, because sometimes you don't get a nice point, I do something that I have nicknamed a loop-de-loop. I don't know if anyone else calls it that, but I just come further down on the cookie so that I get that really crisp area right there. And then when I flood the cookie, right, you see what happens. I have that nice crisp area. I don't have to go back and pick up a scribe. For me, that's important. Every time I pick up a scribe, it costs me money, right? It's time because I cookie for profit. All right, now we're going to do something fun. I hope you guys like this. We're going to just flood in sections, but I wanted that full outline around the cookie because I liked it on my practice cookies. I liked how it looked, you know, like that, almost like that tattoo art where it has the black outline. In these coastal cookies, I thought it was quite attractive when I was alternating my colors. So we're just going to do swaths, arced swaths of color, and then we're going to do some wet on wet, okay? And this is about an 18-second. This would be what I would normally use for just straight out outlining. But I tend to use it for outline and flood. I don't like to have, if I'm using 3 colors, that would quickly turn into 6 different bags of icing if I was doing a separate outline and flood for just these 3 cookies that we're doing, which if you're doing a big order, that's fine. You need to have all that icing made up anyway, right? But for doing a small order, it's an awful lot of icing, and it's a lot to expect people to do if they're just doing cookies for a hobby and practicing and stuff, right? Hello, Facebook user. I'm so glad that you just got off work and you are headed out. Hello there, Kelly Travis. How are you? Now we're going to go to thinner layers, and we're going to do a good shake on this because we need all our areas to fill in and settle down, and then we're going to do our drag. Okay, and we're just going to do that tonight with the thingamajiggy. After we get our wet on wet done, then what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to add some of these cool embellishments. But the seashell is really, it's just really pretty. I love seashells. So this top area is about twice as wide as this area. And down here, I'm just going to go in and fill the rest of it with the turquoise because I'm going to be putting these light colored shells on top. Okay. So let's give it a shake. Hopefully it won't make the camera crazy. Using gravity when I need to fill areas, I'm just going to let that kind of take over. What's it say? Facebook user? Who's the Facebook user? Who is this? That's what it says. It calls you Facebook user because you have to grant StreamYard permission. Ah, fantastic. Well, I have missed a few lives lately, guys, with the retreat and the injury I had, and then had a little bit of sickness when I got back from the retreat. I had a massive sinus infection that rolled into bronchitis because I don't know why the doctor's offices are doing this, but they don't want to give you your normal medicine I mean, I get the same medicine this time of year every year, right? But they don't want to give you the medicine that you need because they got to make sure they send everything off for COVID and whatever. So, just make something different. All right, so these are our basic stripes. We're going to start right down here. I'm not touching down to the bottom of the cookie. I'm dragging all the way to the top. Okay, and I'm going to wipe the scribe clean. I don't want to put that back in. I'm going to start at that same spot, and I'm going to go up the cookie in this direction, same spot, and angle out just a little bit further. Here and just a little bit further. And then we're going to do those same 3 things on the other side of the cookie. Now I'm going slow so that I don't blow out the focus of the camera, but when you're doing this in person and you're cookieing in the store, it goes very fast. If you end up with any tips up in this area, just kind of use your scribe, knock them down a little bit there, right? And then let's pick out some cool stuff to add to this. So I'm thinking one of these cute little baby scallops. Hey. Yes. Hello, Cynthia. How are you? Hi, Sandy. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying this. I'm glad, you guys. Makes me happy. Let's see, who is it? Can't see who that is. Hi, Darla. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Michaela. Let's see. All right, so let's put this little guy on here. And remember, if you were cooking for profit, needed to make these ahead of time, you'd stop right now, let these set up overnight, totally dry. You'd heat seal them, and then you'd freeze them if you wanted to make them ahead of time. And you would have your fondant bits made, and you would add them later. But we're going to add just a little bit, okay? And I'm going to put just the littlest bit of sugar down here at the bottom. Same color sugar over that teal. I've got some teal sugar. I want to put just a little bit, not a lot. I'm going to take one of my white sixlets, which make beautiful pearls. I'm going to add that. Then I'm going to add just a few of these baby pearls in different sizes and a couple that I put any on here. I'm going to put just a couple even smaller pearls, like the little white nonpareils that come in graduated sizes. I think a few of those are going to show up nice. But you get the idea of what you're doing with your accents versus what you're adding as your main pieces, right? Now what I want to do, I think I want to pull one of these little teal stars. Let's add a little teal star sprinkle in there because it's a different shade of teal. And is there anything else on here that I really want to try out on this cookie? I feel like that's good. So the last thing that I want to do on this cookie, I want to put a little beach sand down at the bottom, like it's gotten caught in the sand. Let me work these little areas real quick before it dries too much, though. When I added that extra icing, I didn't go back and cause that water to come together on here. So let me do that real quick. So what I'm going to do is take this whole cookie, and I'm just going to take this end, and I've got my beach sand, my shortbread already made up, and I'm just going to put that in it and let it pick up whatever it picks up. Okay, because I just want a little. I don't want a whole bunch. I don't normally add fondant pieces before freezing, Sally, specifically because I normally color my fondant or I dry dust it. And I'm always worried about what's going to happen with that dry dust when the condensation hits it when the cookie is thawing, right? If you get it's why I don't freeze airbrush cookies. I know other people do it successfully. I just haven't had luck with it, so I don't tend to do that. But you could certainly practice with it and see if that works for you. I just do my cookies completely separate and stick to just the ones that are regular iced, thaw them, and then I do any airbrushing and then I add any embellishments. But that works for me because of the volume that I do, so I can work that into my schedule so it makes sense. But it might not make sense for someone else, right? So definitely do what works best for you, but that's the reasons that I don't do it. So I have a little beach sand at the bottom, but isn't that pretty with just those basic 3 colors? And then we've got that dark outline. Now, I do almost wish I had used the lighter teal, though. It seems like the teal's a little dark to me, but I like it. It's going to match up good for all of the things that we're doing. But I do think if I was going to do another round of these, I'd do the lighter teal. think it's good for what we're doing tonight. But all right, so here's what we're going to do for this. On the jellyfish, hopefully we're just going to use 2 colors. We'll see how this works. But what I want to do is do teal and ivory. You like it? You guys like it? Kelly says yes, and Cynthia's saying cute shell. So just ideas. You know, you don't have to make your areas as big. I just really love that pulled wet on wet look, and I like the outline look of the darker color icing for the outline. But you could just do your colors all the way across too, and that would take away that darker line. But you'll see it in the picture tomorrow when I post this, okay? Could you use the same color teal and just not? Oh, do you mean in my color? So I actually made 2 teals for a project I was working on. So I made my light one and I bagged the quantity I needed. And then I added more teal coloring to it and made this dark one. This dark one is always going to show up better on camera. I have trouble with the light on camera. But yes, you absolutely, it's just like an ombre effect of your teals. But I wanted to stick to 3 colors for you guys tonight. Like instead of doing dark teal, light teal, then tan, then ivory, then white. I didn't want you to have to mix up that icing, that many colors. I just wanted you to get the techniques. Hey, Camille, how are you, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Yes, I love these cutters. I love summertime cutters, and specifically these. I love them. They're from the very first cookie kit that I sold to once I started teaching online. They are the cookie snack. It's from the Cookie Snack Attack Mermaid Kit from last summer. Hi, Pamela. Thank you. Mary Jean loves the shell. Awesome. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use ivory and teal and white sugar and white nonpareils to create this little guy. So actually thinking in that order, let's go ahead and do his tentacles first. Okay. So we're going to do the tan on the back and just put down a couple of tentacles. We don't need a lot because we're going to test. Oh, actually, hold on. I'm sorry. I forgot a step in here. Okay. We need to put a little swath of ivory. It doesn't have to set up and be a separate section, but it does need to be under the tentacles. So for the jellyfish shape itself to look right. Okay. So put a swath of ivory down just for that layer. Again, it doesn't have to be a separate section. It just needs to be underneath what we're about to do. Okay. So it's your very first thing you'll want to do. All right. So let's put down some tan tentacles in the back because we want to see what these sugars do when we put the sugars on top of the tentacles. And so since we're covering them with an embellishment, we want to do these pieces first. And we're not using a thick icing, so we want to be careful not to put too many of these little hang down tentacles too close to each other. Okay, so let's go over our plate with this tan, okay? And let's put gold sugar on top of our tan, okay? And just try to hit the tan legs. That's what we're going to be hitting on this one. And can you believe it? As much as I love sprinkle spoons, I did not bring a sprinkle spoon in my toolkit. I don't know what I was thinking. I knew I was going to do coastal cookies and I was going to be using all these cool sugars after I found them. But I wanted you to see what this looks like, this gold sugar. It's bakery bling. I wanted you to see what it looks like over the light brown. So see how it gives it that cool, it looks like it's painted gold, right? We're always trying to find ways to make things look gold without having to go back and do all the hand painting. All right, so now we're going to take our ivory. Maybe. We're going to take our ivory and we're going to come back this direction. Okay. We've got a good coating of gold over that brown, but we want to do a little in the ivory, and then we're going to put a different color on our ivory, okay? It doesn't have to be a lot. Do you see how cute that is, right? And how fast it goes. So now we're going to do white sugar, right? And it doesn't matter if it also catches on the brown because the white over the brown icing is going to look different than the white does over the ivory icing, okay? Did I say that right? Ivory icing? I don't know what I said, but that's what I meant to say. I can't really get too hung up on when I say something incorrectly because it'll make me self-conscious and I won't want to do any more videos. So just bear with me. I try to tell you if I feel like I've misspoken on something. All right. So you can see what that looks like, right? Pamela, I don't think I have any more of this particular cutter, this metal cutter, but I do think they're on Amazon. They're just more expensive. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Okay, so let's come back to this, okay? I'm pretty sure they're on Amazon, though, and I'll be happy to look for you when we finish our video tonight. It'll be quick for me to find it. But a lot of our cookie kits, you guys, I'm sure you remember, but a lot of our cookie kits come from overseas. So things are ordered 3 and 4 months in advance. And I'll take a look for you. I'll find you the closest one you can, okay? I just really like this one because of this base area at the legs. All right, so now what we're going to do, we've had a little bit of time. So we've got some crusting, which is fine. If it crusts, fine. If it doesn't crust, it's fine. But now we're going to come back and we're going to come right over that up next to that area that we put down first for the background. And we're going to do this next section. And we need to work pretty quick because we're going to do some wet on wet work. And then we're going to add some cute little nonpareils. And in this case, the nonpareils could be put on ahead of time. I've tested them. For me, they freeze well. If you guys feel like they don't freeze good for you, then don't do it. But I feel like for me, they freeze great. So this cookie, I would just finish the whole cookie and freeze it. But, you know, everything is experimentation area. It also has to do with your humidity, your climate, your altitude. There's just so many variables. I can try to guide you towards what to do, but when you're doing a really big cookie order, don't wait till the last minute. Make all the cookies ahead of time, make a demo set, and test everything I'm telling you out, okay? Don't wait till the last minute when you have a 600 cookie order and then realize, oh, wait, I can't really freeze these if I do them this way. Or maybe if I had done this just slightly different, this wouldn't be taking so long, right? So there's lots of variables involved. So you really just have to plan and you have to get your schedules down. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to drag from this part of the jellyfish up into the green, up into the teal, right? And I'm going to just keep wiping right here. And I'm going to do it. I'm wiping my boo-boo stick off, but I am actually trying to bring a little green down into the cream. I want it to just have that hint, like it's two mixed colors. And don't worry about the fact that you're getting those points. We're going to come back and smooth those out in a second. Just worry that you're doing your direction, right? You want to start out this way. You want to see how we're fanning out. And then as we get over here, we continue to go till we're straight up and down. And then over here, we start fanning out again. We want that movement with our colors. And do you see how I have just that little bit of teal by not totally cleaning off my boo-boo stick? It's bringing just the littlest bit of teal because I do want all my markings to go from the inside out. Okay, now what I'm going to do on those points, I'm going to pull those points back inward a little because I don't necessarily want that pointy point on the end. So if I pull that back in, do you see how it kind of blunts that out so it's not so sharp looking? Can you guys see that okay? I hope you can. And then we just want to make sure we have that nice smooth hood around the top. Just think about how we do our mushrooms and stuff, okay? Now right in here, there's just not quite enough. I want to just get this a little better. I want to work with that while it's still wet. Kind of thin that color out. Do you see how it was just too sharp where the green is, the teal? So I'm just kind of fanning that out a little more to make it look like the Man of War looks, okay? And now I'm just going to encourage this icing to settle down by doing the little jiggle thing that we do with the tip of our boo-boo stick. We do that little jiggle and it causes all the water to come up and give us that nice smooth surface. Now, if you've jiggled too much or made a pattern you don't like, this is really your last chance to fix that. So you got to give it a little more. And don't forget, if you're a beginner, Most of the time, the bigger issue, and again, you have to practice, that's my disclaimer, but the bigger issue is that you don't use enough icing. And so you don't have enough to play with when you're trying these cool new techniques, okay? All right, so let's pull our plate back over. I don't want to spill this, but let's pull the plate over right in here. And I think what I want to do on this little guy, I want the little white nonpareils around the top to just add a little bit of detail up here that I don't want to go back and do all that hand piping, right? This, if I had a lot of these cookies to do, that would just be too much for me. But look at the cute dots, okay? You guys can see that okay? Oh, you like it? Okay, cool. Hey, Cheryl, how are you tonight? So we've got that. I like that. But then I also want to come in here and I want to put the tiniest bit of this teal sugar. But I want to be super careful. I'm working from the center and going upward. So it's just barely in there. So now we've got the wet on wet that's down in the icing. And we've got a little bit of our shimmer sugar on top of the icing. Okay, I like that. And remember, we sugared our tentacles so that they wouldn't collapse on each other. So now what I think I want to do, I think what I want to do is I want to take one slightly larger sugar pearl for up here and maybe one on the other side over here. Not more than 3, just because I like that variation. And I'm pulling the smaller ones of this size because, you know, even though they say they're 4 millimeter, they're not always all 4 millimeter, right? So just be careful with that. You have to pick out uniform sizes, especially if you need them to match. Now I think what I want to do is I want to come back here and I want to add some non-sugared ivory tentacles as the last thing I put on this cookie, okay? And you don't have to do this. If you're happy with your tentacles, it's fine. It's just, it's had a little time to set while we did the other. And if I put this on top of my tan, like layering it on top of the tan with the gold, it's just going to give me a little brighter tentacle as my top tentacle, right? And because it's crusted with the sugar, these are going to set up a little higher. So it just gives me a little more dimension without adding a lot of icing to the cookie. All right, and then if you want to get super creative down here on those last couple things you just added, you could just pop a couple sugar pearls on the end since we're doing all flood and we're not worrying about, about letting this set and using a dehydrator and all that. And also, guys, please, I forgot my tweezers. So normally I'd be setting these with tweezers and not my fingers like this. I'm doing a pretty good job like this, but normally I'd be using something else. So there you have another super cute cookie to go with this cookie. All right. So now we're going to finish our mermaid. Is everybody with me? Cookies are similar. Why are they similar to concrete work? I need to know that one. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. All right. So let's move the tray out of the way. I don't really want to put a shell on the jellyfish, even though we made all these cool shells. I'm going to save them for the next project, but I don't want to put them on this. And I need a clean paper towel because this icing is getting crusty and I don't want to make a big sugar mess on this table. So let's get these out of the way. Kind of excited about how many trees I get to plant this year. I get to plant double the amount of trees that I normally replace to counteract my paper towel usage in the year. I think a lot of you know I do that, but I get to plant more than normal this year because we're working on some stuff in our backyard. Hey, Kelly, how are you? So I have a little more time. Those pearls. Okay, so let me show you really quick while we're at this point in the video, okay? So these are sixlets, white sixlets with chocolate inside in case you have somebody that needs something super soft. These are Walmart pearls that are hanging up just in the regular baking aisle in those little dollar bags, and I think they are still $1. They're just sugar pearls, but they're a little firmer, so you have to be conscious of who your audience is that's getting these. These are just little soft, like almost full of air white nonpareils from Michael's, graduated sizes in that bag. They're not all uniform, And then these are some Wilton 4mm white sugar pearls. So just, you know, I don't have a preference, but I am always very cautious with putting things like that on cookies because of who my audience might be, right? Nimrose, I'm still here with my mom. I won't be taking off until Thursday. We got some more stuff to do. We're going to have a little more time together, so I'm excited about that. But thank you. Appreciate that. I'll tell her you said hello. Oh, yeah, you're right. So when you do concrete work, usually there's borders on the edge, right? And then there's a board that goes across the top, and you're doing the shimmy, shimmy, shake to get the water to come up if you want it smooth. You're right. I should have put that together. I've shimmied that board quite often on yard projects, so I should have known where you were headed with that. All right, so let's make our mermaid. I'm going to give her this cool area up top with the teal because I think it would just show up really well. Now, guys, if you had the time, thicken one of these icings up and you can do the bird beak cut on your bag, which is similar to a 67 tip, and you can do some really flouncy mermaid tail bits down here, but I promised you fast and simple in 3 colors of icing. So that's what we're sticking to tonight. But if you want to do something different, you can. Okay. But this is fast and simple. So we're going to go ahead and do the part of the tail here. And I want a little design in here. So I'm going to come down to the middle. I'm going to come back up here. And come here. We're coming across here. And I don't want this to be a line. That's why I'm giving it the squiggle. I want it to have that little bit of dimension to it, I guess. And we're going to get movement in this tail in a minute. I'm going to come all the way down here with this. All right, so I don't want too much of this icing because we're going to do a wet on wet, but I need enough. I need enough for what we're about to do. So I'm going to make arcs. Instead of like hand piping all those little scallops, I'm going to make arcs in my icing. And I'm using my light brown or taupe color on purpose. Okay, and I'm making arcs that go downward. Then I'm going to come back with my boo-boo stick. Just make sure it's clean. We don't want to drag green. And I'm going to drag down going up because I want the points to end up at the top. All right, and remember, these are the fast and easy. I don't want to get into the green. And I'm starting down here at the bottom. We want to keep it moving upward so it looks like scales. I want to keep winding up with a curve and in the center. So my movement's ending up in that area so it looks rounded, even though it's actually a flat cookie. Okay, and again, I'm not going into the green. I'll show you why in just a minute. I like the look of this done like this for a fast and easy cookie. I like that we've got this divider here. Now what we're going to do down at the bottom, because we are going to add some shells, and our shells that we have left, the big ones that we like, we've got a lot of teal and we've got white. So I'm going to put a little more brown than normal down at the bottom of the tail, but only near the center area where I know I want to drop the shells on, okay? So like these bottom ones, just to keep my color scheme going in a manner that I like, we're going to do tan on these bottom ones. And remember, we did, if you took the mermaid class last year, you know how to do the fancy tail for this if you want to do that, like for a princess party or a mermaid princess party. If you want to do something a little bit different, you can. You know how to do it. Now I'm going to come in with my teal, and I'm going to do just a little bit of teal on this one, and then I'm going to finish out with my ivory, but that way all 3 colors are here. Then we're going to put some shells over this, and we're going to do a little bit of wet on wet, but it's not going to be a uniform pattern. You can play with this next part to make it look like what you want. Rock candy is another good item. I didn't find any here. And I have a ton at home, so I didn't want to order any in on Amazon while I was here. But rock candy is great to create beach gems too, if you want to do that. I think we did that last year too. So we're basically just doing 3 colors. We're not sectioning them because we're not giving them time to try in between. But on a simple fast cookie, we're just working with our 3 colors. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Down here at the bottom, we're just going to work our colors together. Figure 8ing it back and forth across all the colors. Just to get this. This is going to be background, so it does not have to be perfect, okay? Doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed. You're working in figure 8s across all 3 colors, and you're just pulling them together, and it's just giving some fun direction to the tail, okay? And then you want to come right back up to here. You're going to bring all of this color right back to here, so your motion's still headed upward, okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to come back. We're going to come back to our plate. And what I want to do with this is put the plate down because we're going to work with the cookie over all these embellishments now. Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to come up to the top. And I have decided in this process, I do want some of the sugar. I didn't want this whole thing highly coated, but I do want a little sugar at the waistline in the same color as the under icing. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little of that on so we have a little sparkle. Okay, and then down here of my shells, let me come in this way because I have a holder here. I think of my shells, I really like this one. And it can have a little lip to it because it's, well, maybe if I don't break it. Oh, wait a minute. I really like this one. How about we do this one over in this area? Okay, we'll put that little shell here. Let's get a white pearl going. Oh, how about this beautiful little teal one on top of the ivory area? Do you like that? I think we should put a few little sprinkles with this one to make it look like coral wreath right there. We'll put a few of these little guys. Because remember, we're doing it the simple method tonight. Oops, sorry. Sorry about that. We're using sprinkles to create these things that we could do. We could do with thicker icing, right? But we're using sprinkles to keep these fast. So I've added a little white sugar with mica in it here. Just want to make sure this is going the right direction, that my points are not settling too much. I love that little shell. All right, so I think we should have a little sand on her, but maybe just at the bottom, just a little hint to tie all our colors together. Just a little bit, and we'll drop some pearls here, but not the big ones, only one big one. And then we're going to drop down to the smaller size. And then maybe some little white nonpareils. And I'll show you what this all looks like and how it looks with the other cookies in just a second. Now, if I can find a good little star in here, like this star, can you guys see this? I'm going to put a little embellishment right here as long as I can get it, because look what that does. Isn't that beautiful? It's just a perfect little accent. All right, so we've got our shells. I want a little bit more right here, but I think we have to do it with white sugar to get in between so that that whole area is covered. You see that? So it looks like she's hovering above, her little tail is hovering above a coral wreath. What else do we have in here? I'm trying not to get this icing all over my arm. How about a little of this shimmer in our teal area here? Do a little bit of that just so the tail has shimmer. And remember, you know how to do the fancy tail, right? Kelly, you like that, right? Not on my phone. I have a web camera hooked up. There we go. It's my stand. I have my, you know, that stop motion that we learned how to do at CookieCon. I have that stand with me just in case something was going to get broken. I didn't want my really good stand to get broken, so I brought that. I do want one more shell on here, but I don't know which one I want. Let me just look at this for a second. I'm not sure which one I want. I don't want something really big. I don't want another blue. So my options really are this, but I don't want a full one. So how about this? I'm going to take this and I'm going to trim it so that it looks like it's popping out behind this other seashell. And that way I can place it right on the turquoise color. And I'm going to knock that down in there like that. So it looks like it's sticking up. That way I get a little relief right on the cookie. Just tucking it down in. Do you see how I'm doing that? So that it'll look like it's popping off the cookie. Okay, I kind of like that. That's 3 of my shells. Right now I've only got 2 sugar pearls. So let's pick another pearl and drop a little pearl right there. That gives me 3 in my pearls. This looks good with this little lip flipped up. I like that. We got a little beach sand going. We have that perfect little embellishment there. So I'm happy with this. You like it, Pamela? I'm so glad. All right, let's turn this. It's just fun. You can, and this, everything that's on this one, if you didn't dry dust, I'm just very concerned about telling you it's okay to freeze something with dry dusting that's not sealed with confectioner's glaze, because I have had trouble with it before. But if you don't dry dust, let's put a clean paper towel so you can see this. If you don't put dry dust on there, this one could go right to the freezer, right? This whole cookie could be done. And it's cute. It's fast. It was simple. Nothing complicated about it. Let's move all this over here. And let's look at all 3 cookies together. How about on this, in case anybody wants to screenshot it? Okay, let's put them all 3 together. I think the mermaid tail should be front and center because you know it's my fave. Got a little icing there. I just put my thumb in. And how about this? So there's our set for tonight. I hope that didn't take us too long. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I feel like I needed to make them to give you a little more time tonight since I've had all of these debacles going on lately, right? So let's tip this stand just a little bit this way. Okay, that's my mom's pups. Let's pull this down in case anybody wants to grab a picture. But you see how easy that was to use just a plate of embellishments and colors that go together, and then to keep it simple and use 3 icings. Now, they don't have to be this dark. I do really like this. This is a very moody beach color set. I think if it was for like a kid's party or something, I would go white, very light teal, very light tan, or white ivory in a very light teal. But I kind of like this. It's a little moodier than I normally do when I do my beach sets, but I like it. I hope you guys do too. But the main thing that you should take away is prepping your fondant pieces, of course, having just a little embellishment plate where everything on the plate coordinates, so it really doesn't matter what you pick up. So all of your mermaid tails can look different, right? And a couple of little tricks that'll save you time, like the nonpareils on the top of your jellyfish. You saw how quick that was, rather than going back and piping individual dots and then having to use a scribe and to knock down the tips. You see, you can see here how much just this one little pre-planned sprinkle adds, right? By just adding this here and keeping it super simple up at the top part. No fancy tips, no super thick icing, you know, just using our wet on wet basic technique, keeping this here, a little bit of sugar at the top, and then having your fondant pieces ready to really do something decorative on the tail, adding a few little beads here. You won't have to worry about, if you don't have a dehydrator, using something like this in those little circle pockets, you won't have to worry about getting a dimple in that icing or getting a sunken spot in that icing, right? And then over here, same thing. We ended up with a dark color because we already had our embellishments planned. We knew they were light colored, so we wanted to start dark, medium, middle dark, end dark. And then by tying our beach sand together on these cookies, it just gives you a really easy coordinated set to do, right? Now, obviously, we did a lot of prep work. We explained a lot of things as we went. But if I had been doing this at the shop, we're at like an hour and 15, 20 minutes since we started, I could have knocked out close to 36 of these I would have been able to go that fast and done a dozen of each of these if I had had my pieces prepped. That's how fast I could do these and knock them out. I probably could do more than that, but I'm probably too picky still to do more than that. Like there's other things I could have done to speed it up, but to me, it's worth the time to do these pulled wet on wet technique details. It's very worth it for what that looks like. It's very worth it to do that for the scales instead of piping. Everybody always has trouble with piping mermaid scales. That's why they've all switched. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people have switched to airbrushing it. But you can still get that beautiful hand done royal icing look if you just switch to a wet on wet technique. So you have to have both icing consistencies be the same consistency. That's really important for that to work well. And it needs to be a thick enough consistency that it's not going to roll off your cookie because that'll screw up your design, but thin enough that you can do the wet on wet, right? And then plan for something like this so that you don't have to make the super thick icing. If you have a customer that says, I really just don't want that much icing on my cookie, well, you don't want to do that fancy leaf tip and do those flouncy tails like we did last summer, right? You want to keep it a little simpler. So there's just different things to think through, and you're going to get even better at that as you go along, as you work with customers more, because you're going to be able to anticipate what they're going to ask. But just something simple like this, 3 colors, different plate of embellishments and sugars, pull all those things together. And these you could charge for feature cookies for these because they look like that, but they're meant to be something that you can do well ahead of time, freeze, and then add into your even fancier cookies, right? So that you don't have like these really, really too simple looking cookies paired with these super, super fancy cookies. But just so you know, I hope that at some point this summer we can come back and we're going to sculpt this with fondant, because I want to do this similar to how we did our mushroom a couple of weeks ago. I want to show you how to do that in case you want to make feature cookies to use as either cake toppers or on a coordinating cake, and they need to be a little bit fancier, have a little bit more detail. I want to show you how to sculpt this with fondant, and I want to show you how to sculpt this with fondant. Okay. And the mermaid tail, I really want to come back in a totally separate video sometime this summer. And I want to use this cake lace mat with some flex frost and show you how to use that to create a very simple mermaid design, either on the mermaid tail or to look like a mermaid tail on like a round cookie or a plaque cookie or something like that. We want to use this to do the scales so it looks like we've tied in a mermaid, but maybe it's not a specific mermaid cutter, right? So another way to give that appearance without actually needing that specific cutter. All right, so did you guys enjoy tonight? Let's see what's happening over here. Hi, Pamela. How are you tonight? Does anybody have any questions? Everybody good? You like the mermaid scales, Priscilla? I just love this. There's so many things you can use this for. But when I saw it, I was like, I can't believe I don't have that, especially as much as I like all of the Flex Frost stuff we've been doing lately. I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you so much. Pamela, you loved it. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Well, if everybody's, yes, this was all 18-second royal icing, all of this. So we use 3 colors, all 18-second, which is what I use when I do outline and flood together, somewhere between 18 and 20. Okay, that's what I normally use if I'm doing all the same consistency and I'm going to be flooding and doing wet on wet. Hey, Camille. And Camille, I'm going to be taking care of something for you as soon as I get back to Virginia. You have many apologies. There was just a lot to do before I left. So there was something I wanted to get to you and it has not been placed in the mail yet, but I promise you it will be as soon as I get home. Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, I think everybody's all set. If you watch this video on the replay, feel free to drop any questions in the comment area. I'll check them first thing in the morning. What else? Anything else for tonight? Just don't forget the pirate class is this Saturday. All the prep videos are already in the group. So if you haven't purchased the class yet, you can do that by going to our website. And if you give me just a second, I'll put the website up here so it's the last thing in the video for you. It's seriouslysweetcooking.com. Cupcakes with an S on the end. Go there and you'll do to order, enter here, and the pirate class will be there. It's discounted to $35 until the class starts, and at that point the price goes up. I won't be admitting anybody to the group after noon on Saturday. It's just got too hard last time with people purchasing at the last minute. So please get that taken care of, get that purchase, get in the group. What happens is when you purchase, you get a confirmation email, and then you get a thank you email from me that has a link to the group. And then I check that every few hours, especially the days leading up to the class. I check it even more frequently. But all the prep videos are already in there. Your files are in there. Your cookie snack attack cards are in there. Supply list is in there. Just everything is in there and waiting for you. And I hope you're going to join us for class Saturday. It's going to be really fun. We haven't done the pirate theme before, and this is an intermediate level class. So if you are up for that, jump in on that. As always, if you want to get text alerts before the live stream starts, you can text us. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, that's a different listing. That's for when Brian does his services on Sunday. So let's go to this one. I'm sorry, I have a lot in here right now. So text the word live stream, all one word, all capital letters, to 540-870-0726. And that way you will get alerts whenever we're live streaming, as long as it's between Eastern Standard hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. I don't text outside those hours, okay? So I would love to see you guys doing that and getting in the text alerts. And I am going to catch up with you guys in a day or two, okay? So have a fabulous few days. Message me, not message me, but drop comments in the comment area if you have questions, because if you have the question, somebody else is likely to have the question. So it's best if it's not too specific, if I just answer it in the group, but use your judgment. If it's going to confuse a bunch of people, don't drop it in the group. Okay. Send it to me in a message. So thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this Tutorial Tuesday, the second part of it. I hope y'all are all safe and well and everybody's doing okay. And I will see you ladies soon. And gents, I see a couple gents watching. You guys have a great night.